For the last year, I have been making my dream game, and now I'm gonna show you it. Hello, Void, I'm Eldon, and for the past year, I've been working very hard to create a video game. It's called Pilgrim Unto Shadow. You can play the demo right now on Steam, link in the description, check it out if you want. Now, traditionally, this would be the part where I talk more about the game, but I have an entirely separate video doing just that on my official release channel. So instead, I'm just gonna summarize it. It's a 0D action RPG. I've taken inspiration from games like Dark Souls and Hollow Knight, as well as more specifics from things like Helldivers, Fear and Hunger, and Dance Dance Revolution. I think it turned out really good, and honestly, it's super fun. But I'm not here to talk about the specifics of my game. I'm not even really here to sell you on it, though I hope you do want to play it. Instead, I just want to talk about the process of spending the last year of my life working almost entirely on one single project. Let's start with the overall experience. Honestly, it's been a blast. I could talk about how it's been really difficult and that motivation has been hard and leave this whole sob story, but really, I've just had a lot of fun with it. It's really cool to be able to actualize something I come up with in my head, and I've seen a noticeable improvement in my ability over the course of learning this new skill, and it's made it really fun to just do. When I started out, I knew basically nothing about the specific language I was using, about how to structure things overall, or hell, even how to make good art and the gameplay fun. Every day, slowly chipping away at this monolithic pile of granite, slowly carving out the shape I want to see, and each day getting a better and better result has been perhaps the most fulfilling thing I've ever done in my life. And it just happened one day at a time. Now, not all of those days have been fun or interesting, and sometimes I guilted myself into working probably a modicum harder than I ought to have been, but realistically, it's just been so rewarding. So, how did I decide to start? Well, I just graduated, I was unemployed, and I thought I had a cool idea. That's really where it all started. I thought I had a cool idea. I wanted to see a game where you could use the Helldiver style stratagems to cast any spell in the game. Sort of like a cool wizard thing. And I knew enough about coding, well, I thought I knew enough about coding, and I really wanted to do some more art, so I decided to make the game myself. It's kind of a lukewarm motivation, I won't deny it, but at a certain point after enough time, my mind sort of tricked itself, it flipped a little switch, and all of a sudden I was fueled largely by the spite for the person I was yesterday and the person who I sought to be tomorrow, and at that point I was just off flying. Since then, I've been doing odd jobs to pay bills and spending a lot of my free time working on this whenever I can. Now, it's important for my personal narrative that I maintain that this is a project done purely out of spite, or at least some emotion similar to that. But realistically, at the backbone of this as well, I kind of just realized that if I didn't make this game, it would never exist. I don't know if that's true or if that's too existential, but to me it's kind of terrifying. This is something that is and was real to me in my mind, and if I wanted to make it actually real to other people, I had to do it all myself. And so I just did, and I have been, and I will continue to do so. At the end of the day, that's kind of what keeps me motivated. The idea that this project is something that only I can do, and that if I don't do it, no one else will. That, and it's also really fun. I'm not gonna lie, it's fun to do. If you want to try and do a long-term project like this, well, I don't really have any concrete advice to give you, except for embrace your own mental illness. Realistically, that's the only way to keep working on something for a year or longer, or have your paycheck be tied to it, but that's somewhat outside of your control. Or it's not outside of my control. Fucking download the fucking game, download the demo, please, I'm begging. But yeah, like, realistically, the only way to actually do something like this is to trick your mind into obsessing over it to the point where you're, a little bit restless, a little bit uncomfortable with the idea that you're not doing it. It's not healthy. I mean, don't do it to the point where it's unhealthy. But, just like find the happy neutral ground where it's something you really like doing, it's something you do a lot, but it's not something that's destroying your life and relationships with others. That's that's achievable. Now, so far, I have only really presented a positive narrative, but actually, in truth, it hasn't all been easy. There have been definitely a few challenging parts to this. Reworking stuff is hard, and that's actually like the biggest advice I have if you are trying to do something as long as a year or longer, especially in like video game development or like software development, or I guess really anywhere, is understand how you're going to integrate all of the parts before you start integrating all of the parts. Try and like do some research into modularity, into good systematic designs that can easily be switched out and subbed out. Here's a good example from my game. Originally, my enemies were just one big script because I was, testing things out and kind of expanding as we go. And then there was this big thing that I realized I wanted to do with enemies, where I wanted to make like a significant change in the way that they worked. But because I had been going so gradually, just like expanding, making one enemy, and then adding new features to the next enemy that needed it, I had to go through and change all of the enemies at the same time, which took like forever. And it was not just like the actual work was the problem, but like because so much had built up, the actual thought of it being a lot of work to do became just as significant a challenge as actually going back and doing the work individually. And I could have avoided all of that if I had just spent a little bit more time at the start thinking, I'm probably going to need to make more than like 4 enemies, so I should probably make it so that when I change one enemy, I can change all of them. And that's eventually what I ended up doing. I ended up going back and functionalizing all of the enemies so I could change one and make them all change in the same ways. And if I had been more experienced, or if I had thought ahead, I would have done that, like, from the beginning. The other thing that I've been really struggling with is the classic paradigm of the first 80% of the project takes 20% of the time, and the last 20% takes 80% of the time. Essentially, the cleaning and polishing phase takes so much longer than the actual doing of it, and you can fudge the numbers a little bit, but I have found this truism to be absolutely true. Making sure everything is polished, squashing all the bugs, implementing all the little features that I said, you know what, I'll just go back later and add that, has been a nightmare. Not just because they're all the little fiddly things I didn't want to do in the first place, or that takes so much longer to fix because doing them jeopardizes everything else, but also because, like, again with the forward thinking thing, I have to go through and do that, and this is already work that I've deemed to be easy but annoying, and so when you have a mountain of things that are easy and annoying, it's just impossible to go back and fix. When you're making something on a long term, you're continuously acquiring debt, and the actual point where you go back and pay off that debt is never fun. But I will say, it is absolutely worth it. There have been some amazing, really cool, awesome parts to doing this project. I think specifically, I never really realized how cool it was to work with other people when you're like making something that you actually enjoy. When you're doing it alone, you can kind of like there's a joy to that. But for the most part, as people like in school and in like work, you're sort of working with someone else making something you don't really give a crap about. Sure, this presentation is cool, but I don't care about the revolutionary history of antique Barovia. I'm just doing this for the grade. But when you're out here with someone and you're making something that you really care about, and their work is contributing into your work, and it all comes together to form a incredible new whole where you don't get to just see all the parts you built, but instead you get to come in and add someone else's completed work onto your work, onto what you've done. And that creates an instant significant increase in the quality of the thing you've spent so long developing. It's just incredible to see come together. I'm working with this incredible musician friend of mine, and every time that they create a new piece of music, it elevates my game. It elevates something that I've already created, and it's just a transcendental feeling. The other really cool thing that I've been able to do here, especially recently, is playtesting. I've had, after, a year working on this game, a limited ability to actually realistically assess the thing I've been creating. After so long, you just fall into the same habits of doing this, going there, and whenever you add a new feature, generally I just fall into the path that I've already gone up to get there. So being able to put the game in front of people's eyes who haven't seen it before and see them instantly break everything that I've spent so long putting together, it's incredible. It fills my heart with immense joy, but it also really reveals all the different sides of the thing I made and how all those sides are broken and caused the game to immediately explode. But I fixed those things. I went back and I fixed them because I found them, but we fixed them. And because of the way I eventually ended up building things and adjusting them, I could actually go back and fix those things really quick. There has never been a bug that took me more than 10 minutes to go and fix, because I can look at it, I know where it is, I know it's implemented, and when I change it, I can change the whole game in 6 seconds by changing one comma or by fixing one bug. It's just really cool to see happen. Alright. I've held you for quite a while. I think we should come to the end of this. This video was made for me. Again, I'm not trying to sell you on this game. Hell, I don't know if anyone's even going to watch to this point in the video. I'm just talking to a camera, okay? I'm just talking to a microphone. I just want to have this place and this moment where I can just talk openly about what I've been feeling and how cool this has been going through making a game over the course of a year. And hopefully someone else enjoys it, and maybe hopefully someone else finds this inspiring and helps them cope with the realities of spending a long time on a project that probably won't see any return for them except for the emotions they put into it. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, and you are trying to start your own project, do it. There's no reason not to, unless you have other responsibilities. But even then, still do it. There's no point in not doing it. It's only going to be in your head unless you get it out there. And we can't have that happen, can we? Personally, I don't regret anything. I don't regret doing this. I don't regret starting this. And if I'm being honest, this might have been one of the best years in my life, simply because I've been working on this project. Thanks for watching truly to the end of the video. If you like what I said, I don't know, do whatever. It's like a YouTube video, you know what to do. Subscribe and stuff. If you're interested in the game I've made that you've been seeing in the background and seeing the art for it and seeing everything, go check it out on Steam. The demo is literally available right now for free. I'm not gonna say it's bugless, okay? I did the best I could, but it's fun and it's there for you to try. Anyway, even if you don't, and I truly mean this, I don't feel like people mean this a lot of the time, but this time I actually truly mean this. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hearing what I have to say here. And remember, Boyd, it's a long road out there. So take it easy, have a good day, and hopefully you'll see the end of the road you've been traveling.